So, why dating apps do not work in 2023? And I'm going to start off first and foremost by saying it all comes down into the elements of, they say, standing out online. You have to stand out online. Men have to stand out online. Women have to stand out online. And when it comes to what I'm going to be talking about today, it's going to have to do a lot with what it is I'm seeing from my general experience, what other people have been showcasing and telling me, and just really coming down to the conclusion with everything that's going on. See, when I think about this whole thing of dating, right? And standing out, putting your best foot forward. It all comes down to the elements of all these apps. If it's Bumble, if it's Hinge, if it's Tinder, if it's Plenty of Fish. Some people are even using Instagram as a dating app profile also too, because you get the best representation of who a person is technically on Instagram. But there's a lot that I'm going to undercover today about why we see certain things as far as standing out online and where there seems to be a little bit of elements that are simply challenging, all right? Because anybody can put their best foot forward, but the question is you have to ask yourself is, are they actually standing up and being real with who they are, with their intentions and what they post and how they want to fill the captions and things like that? I appeared on the Ask Women's podcast with Marnie Kinrys and her co-host Christian Carney. And we talked about dating apps. And one of the things I said is for men, standing out online is no matter where you're working and things like that, save up some money, buy a couple outfits, hire a photographer and go somewhere. It could be outside. It could be renting an Airbnb. It could be using a business office, whatever, and take a couple photos and post them to put your best representation and your foot forward as far as when it comes down to this dating process. For women, here's my thing. You got to be really intentional, right? A lot of men are not out here wanting to see you with liquor in your hands, right? You with sunglasses on your face, you kind of having these blurry, fuzzy photos because it runs the element that you're a catfish. And you can say the exact same thing for men. We have phones, like we have digital cameras, mirrorless cameras, DSLR cameras. You can get the right representation and the right photographs just by a snap of your fingers. Heck, go on Amazon and buy a tripod for $25, $30 and have it shipped to you in one day. You know what I mean? If you wanting to do, self-still photos of yourself also too. That's one of the biggest components that I wanted to start off with, because it's like having the best representation of yourself. And shout outs to the Ask Women podcast for giving me that opportunity to go on their platform. Shout outs to Marnie Kinrys and shout outs to Christian Carney, right? I really want to get into the first thing, right? And I see it a lot. Misrepresentation of who you are and the elements. It all goes down to the first couple things in your bio. How you are a great communicator, how you're a great listener, how you're loyal, how you have all these things that you like to welcome to the general public. You're saying all these things that you are, or all these things that you're looking for. But when somebody's real and may ask you a question about A, what is it you're looking for? B, what is it you're wanting out of life? Where do you see yourself? Early stages of communication. Everybody's different. Some people want to put their best foot forward, wake up some of the elements of what dating really is and who it is that they want to be around. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're not saying that you got to run your whole entire testimonial about everything that you've been through in life. No, nobody's asking you to do that. But some people really want to know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself maybe 10 years? Where do you see yourself a year from now? These are just examples. Maybe you're going to school. Maybe you're simply sitting here and you're, traveling around the world. Because I know me for myself, if somebody's out here and they're just traveling every 3 to 4 to 5 months because they're a digital nomad, I don't think that's something that I'm going to be wanting to welcome. But hey, that is for whatever people it is that they want to do, right? So you have to look at the best representation of what it is that you want if you're a man or you're a woman. So when I see all these prompts in the profile, it's a little cringe because all these prompts in the profile are just telling me a few things is that you don't know who it is that you are. Because if you knew who it is that you are and what it is that you wanted, you'd simply sit here and you would be, hey, willing, open, and having the opportunity to build into what it is you wanted to build. People can sniff out and see men and women that are self-aware, really who you are. See, people that are great communicators don't have to simply sit there and put that in their dating social prompt profiles or on their Instagram. People that are actually want to talk about empowering other people don't need to necessarily put that into their Instagram profile because they live by that by any means necessary, right? People that are self-aware and aligned by operating through a higher power, a higher self of consciousness, can really understand what it is that they want, how they're going to ask questions, how they're going to be direct in their approach. I'm a big component. Be open, be honest, whatever it is that you're wanting from that person. Heck, if you're wanting to hook up, maybe say that within the first couple conversations because it's online dating, right? It's online dating on Hinge, on Tinder, on Bumble, on Plenty of Fish. It's online dating. So you're technically undercutting how the scenarios and the situations are going, first and foremost, right? So it's a lot different from when you're meeting somebody out in the grocery store, in a library, or in a supermarket, or wherever. When you're on a dating app, you think you'd be cutting out the fluff and wanting to be real and wanting to be intentional. And that's where the misrepresentation comes into play because you don't want to be real. You don't want to be intentional because guess what? You're so used to having the many different people matching with you. And I know there's some influencers out there that says, yeah, always be talking to 3 or 4 different people. But the question you got to ask yourself is this: can you manage the ability to be talking with 3 to 4 to 5 different people? Talking phases, cool. There's nothing wrong with that because you're kind of picking and seeing what's going on. But when you're starting to get now to the point of the first initial meetup, the first hangout, the first get together, you got to maybe change your lane a little bit. And I see a lot of men and I see a lot of women wanting to simply sit here and have little pieces dabbled in between. Because it's not like back in the days of dating when I was in my early 20s, where you could go out, meet a nice young lady, or you could go out and have a conversation, have dialogue, and be, hey, you know what? I find you interesting. What's your phone number? 9 times out of 10, if a woman was actually in something or talking to somebody, hey, I'm actually talking to somebody. That's the reality that you'd be seeing back in the day. And I'm talking about maybe back in 2014, 2015. You know what I mean? When dating was kind of, good. Now it's all about the volume. It's all about how many girls or how many guys you have in your phone number, how many orders that you have circling around in what you call an abundance mindset, how many people you're talking to or how many people you're dating for all different relevancies in your life, somebody that you may be crying out to because you have this going on in your life, somebody that's taking you out for dinner, taking you out for drinks because that's what you were wanting to do. And then you have the person that you're hooking up with. So how are you going to simply sit here and be able to sift through what it is that you're wanting? You can't do that, right? You can't do that. I've always said, and I'm always a big component, talking stages, cool. But after you meet up with a person the first time, right? Things should be going to where it needs to be going, right? You're getting the feel out process. By the second, third, Fourth, that's when things should be falling in line and you should know what your values and your morals and your ethics are. But too many people don't have values, morals, and ethics when it comes to this dating perspective, because they believe that, oh, well, if I'm talking to that person and I'm talking to this person, I don't, run out of options. But how are you going to really know entirely what is you want inside yourself if you're talking to two other people? See, a friend of mine broke down this saying, and it goes like this. Men have the tendency to simply sit here and can control and manufacture what's going on in their phone, but women don't have the exact same ability to do that. Women can't juggle multiple different, perspectives on their phones, from Instagram to Snapchat to the dating apps to what's going on text to what's going on Signal to what's going on WhatsApp. That's not being misogynistic. That's being real. Because you're getting all these notifications. You're getting all these dopamine hits. Heck, when you're an influencer and you're a podcaster, you're a public figure, I get all those notifications, but I know how to structure. I know how to balance. I know how to simply sit here and understand what holds of importance and priority. But not many people know. And that's the difference. Having these countless dopamine hits, you got to ask yourself this question. When you're getting all these dopamine hits from all these apps, are you really being true to yourself? Or is it all you're doing is basically just stroking your own ego for your own personal enjoyment? See, this whole conversation piece is not about being bitter by anything, but it's what's being portrayed out there. It's what the optics is happening out there. Because I talk to many different men and I talk to many different women, and they give me the information that's going on, even from my own personal perspective. Because I'm no exception to the rule. People are not really wanting to be real. They don't want to be straight up. They only want to be straight up is when you simply sit here and you put your foot down because you have your boundaries set in place. You have your standards set in place. And then they're the ones that simply sit here and are like, oh, well, yeah, this is what I've been doing. Why not be straight up from the jump? Because if you're being straight up from the jump, guess what would end up happening? You'd have a different response. I've always said, in dating, getting to know somebody, be open, be upfront from the beginning stages. Because if you do that, you will then be able to simply sit here and A, not waste people's time, B, know what it is that you really want, and C, understand, is this the person that I really want to keep continuing and talking to? It just seems like people want to have a collection of numbers in their phone, a collection of conversations on Instagram, and a number of collections of conversations on dating apps to feed their own agenda. Is it because it's a weakness? Is it because we're so used to having this instant, gratification of number of likes that this is what we're blinded and we're jaded by? That's the misrepresentation that we're seeing, right? Stop putting social prompts in your social media profiles when you can't even uphold to who it is that you are. Because people that are self-aware, people that are actually going places and know what's going on, they know how to communicate, they can see that and they can sniff that from a mile away. And then you're sitting back wondering, well, why is this guy not reaching out to me anymore? Why is this girl not reaching out to me anymore? Because guess what? You misabused. You misaligned. And those people have enough respect and trust in themselves that they're not going to simply sit here and enable bad behavior. But this is the world that we're living in, right? And people will listen to this podcast, people will listen to this conversation, and they're going to say, oh, well, he's hurt. Who hurt him? No, it's not. I'm hurt. It's because I'm speaking from a perspective. See, dating back in the day, you could take somebody out. You could spend $100, $150, $200 on a person. And you know what? You'd get a thank you at the end of that night, or you get a thank you the next morning. You get a thank you in person. And 9 times out of 10 now, people will give you a thank you in person, and then that's it. Because they want you to run after them. They want you to chase after them. This is the reason why people are, honest to God, keeping low investment in the dating pool. This is why men are more prone to wanting to go for a walk. This is why men want to meet up at a coffee shop, go for a drink, because they don't want to put a lot of investment into a woman. Because you know what? There's a lot of women out there that are using men. They're using men for dinner dates. They're using men for drink dates. They're using men for their money, for their wallet. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, women, ladies, is that the end all be all to life? Because a man can simply sit here and spend a couple $100 on you on a date. A man can simply sit here and spend, all this money on you. And then what? It's just, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm good to go now. You can't do that. And I've always said is you got to stop playing around with people's time and their energy and what they're bringing to the table. Because you know what? Once you do that consistently, all you're doing is you're training the own universe to basically realign and end up start playing with your time, playing with your energy, playing with everything else that you got going on. We have to get better as a collective. If you are in the dating pool, in the dating market, and you don't know who it is that you are, you don't know what it is you want, you don't know where it is and how you want to date people, and you feel like you want to date in bunches and not date in singleness, because a lot of men and a lot of women can benefit from that. Maybe limiting your option to one person and actually getting to know who that person is. So your judgment's not clouded by that other man or that other woman or whoever your personal flavor is. See, this is high level conversation. This is high level talking points. Be one within yourself. Understand and know what it is you want for yourself. Well, see, what I keep seeing a lot of times is people go into these relationships, these surface level relationships, and it could just be physicality only. There's no dialogue, there's no talking points because you guys are so prone to the hookup culture. So where you hook up, you get together, you sleep with each other, and nothing comes from it. So you're not really going to know who it is that you are, and you're not going to necessarily know what it is you want because you're constantly prone to that. If you've been in a collection of 3 to 4 relationships between the ages of 19 to about 35, you should be able to know what it is you want and what you're not going to have happening in your life. Stop being a misrepresentation of yourself and being one with yourself. That could be through your own spiritual journey. That could be through reading books. That could be through traveling, self-care, having some time alone. Because a lot of people that are self-aware, that are listening to this right now, that are saying, yo, he's hitting the nail on the head. We get it. We know what it is we want. We know where it is where we want to go. We know how to simply sit here and want to elevate with each other. But some of you guys don't want to elevate. A lot of you guys are just okay with just giving low effort, low energy, low hanging fruit. And real people don't have time for that. You want to get into conversations. You want to get into dialogue with people where you can actually get to know them. After your first meetup and your first encounter, you should actually be able to simply sit here and have a collection of 3 different talking points between that person. Hey, what do I like about them? Right? What interests me to wanting to meet up with that person again? And hey, is this something that I could see maybe going to the next step? The first encounter is all about the best representation you're going to put onto yourself. But hey, don't go into the first encounter if you know you're going to be hooking up with, the person that you have on the side all these days. And that's what's happening with a lot of dating. A lot of men and a lot of women are still playing on past situations. They have past exes, past flings. So they don't know how to sift through what's real from what's fake. Not being reliable. That goes into the text game. This is the good chunk here. I can't tell you how many times you reach out to people and they have this tendency about themselves where when you reach out to them, they don't want to respond back, right? They leave you on read or they leave you on seen. And then they pretend after 12, 24, 48, 72 hours. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the message. Oh, sorry, I was busy with this. No, you're not reliable. Because guess what? You're used to having people double text you, triple text you. Man, don't do that. Honestly, this is where I'm going to really put my foot down. Man, if you reach out to a young lady or you reach out to a woman or whatever age you are, whatever demographic you're in, don't double text somebody, because basically what you're doing is you're lowering your vibration to match and suit them. The reason why they left you on scene, the reason why they've left you on red, the reason why they're ignoring you, the reason why they don't want to respond back to you is because it's not that they're arrogant, it's because they're ignorant. They have an ignorancy inside of their system, right? Because nobody's not that busy. I've been saying this. We have these $1,500 to $2,000 devices in our hands, in our fingertips, and we make time for those things that it is that we want to have happen. I'm a voice note communicator. It takes 30 seconds to send a voice note. It takes maybe 2 minutes to craft a text. You know how many people craft texts when they're on the toilet? They take their phone to the bathroom. I don't recommend that because there's some germs that are inside of there. But people do things. You pick up your phone, you know what? You have your Apple Watch or you have whatever device. You're there, you see the messages. So when people are not responding back to you, it's because it's not an arrogance, it's an ignorance. They're ignorant to you and they don't respect you. Women, that guy you're reaching out to, same thing. If you see the inconsistency pattern happening, guess what? It's because he don't really like you. He don't really rock with you, right? Somebody that actually wants to get to know you is going to respond back to you by any means necessary. And I'm talking about early stages, because if this is in the early stages, a person is going to respond back to you within 2 to 4 to 6 hours. When you see 12, 24, 48 hours, that's when it's basically trajectory rate of, does that person really like you? Does that person really want to communicate with you? Being reliable. Dead end conversations where you ask a question, you just get a response back. Goes back into all the people saying, oh, I'm a great communicator. No, you just respond. You don't have the elements of two-way communication, because two-way communication means being vulnerable within yourself, actually being thought processing yourself. You're not too busy to not respond back. See, what I do when people don't respond back, I just leave it where it is, because that's a reflection of them. That's their own insecurities. They know the reason why, because they want the ego. They want that dopamine hit. They want to see that ping notification of that phone number, of that person, or whoever reaching out to them, because it makes them feel valued. Look, if you're not interested in people, don't give your phone number. Don't respond back to the DM. And if you respond back to the DM or you're responding back on dating apps, don't match with people. Seriously, don't match with people if you don't have no interest in talking to them. Don't respond back to people if you don't have any interest in talking to them. Stop looking for the collection of phone numbers. It's time wasting. People want to communicate. We're all starving. We're all hungry for communication. But what's happening is we're putting our time, we're putting our energy into the wrong places of communication. We're communicating with people that don't really give a damn about who it is that we are. Choose people who are choosing you. Choose people who are having that authentic, genuine communication with you. They're asking those right questions. They want to turn on the right chakras in alignment inside of you. They want to turn on the heart chakra, the brain chakra. You know, they want to simply get to know who it is you are and what it is you're bringing to the table, because that's the trade-off, right? Wanting to be wholesome, wanting to be real in communication, wanting to be real in communication and conversation. Be more reliable. Heck, if you're that busy, you know how attractive it is if you reach out to somebody and somebody says to you, hey, listen, it's been a challenging day. It's been a busy day. Hey, let's communicate later on tonight. Hey, I'm in the middle of a project. Let's communicate later on. Hey, I'm not available right now. Let's communicate later on. But when you're real and you're upfront and you say, hey, listen, you know what? Hey, I'm free at this time. Give me a call. And that person doesn't give you a call. It's a representation to tell you who they are and where they see you. They don't respect you. There's no alignment. It's because they're so busy being distracted by the nuances, the low vibrational energy that's out there, right? That's why I say is a lot of people that say that they're busy, they're actually busy doing nothing. They just don't know how to have the right proper time management in their life. Also, here's something else I wanted to add on to the ghosting. Don't open dialogues of communication with anybody and then want to ghost them for your own personal reward system. I've been a component of this whole ghosting thing. And I truly believe the reason why people ghost or people don't want to respond or people disappear is because the reason why people ghost is because of the abundance of options that it is that they have. Because they're not being real with themselves. You know how many times I've been lately is just be straight up with people, ladies and gentlemen. Just be straight up. That's all people want you to do is be straight up. If you're dating around, please say that from the opening start of the conversation, or you meet a person face to face. Because you know what? You're not leaving people wondering. Actions always speak louder than words. A lot of people have this little tendency of what they do. They make all of these 3D statements on a 2D plane. Oh, I like you. Hey, I want to get to know you. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do that. Hey, I want to go here. Hey, I want to go there. And they're not real with themselves because of the abundance of options that they're surrounded by. Think about it like this. Would somebody ghost you if you were their first priority? Would somebody ghost you if they actually had a genuine burning desire for you? No, they wouldn't. People that ghost you, like I said, it's all about the ignorance that it is that they have. Because they have no moral compass. They have no worth ethic. They don't have it inside themselves to be open and honest, even with themselves, that they know they can't match up to the energy level that you're bringing to the table. So don't accept it. People ghost you. I was a big component a few years back. You block people, but don't block people. Don't block people. Let people have to walk out there and see you evolve, elevate, and reclaim your spot, that doesn't affect you. Because see, these things of these dating apps and what we see happening, especially depending if you come from a small city or a big city, a lot of people are full of cap. A lot of people just simply sit here and talk and they blow a lot of hot air out their ass. Right? They're not actually who they say they are. They ghost and they create these narratives and they create these agendas because guess what? They're not at peace with themselves. See, when you're at peace with yourself, you use your platform to heighten and to educate and to teach people. That's all about being 1% better. You don't use your platform or your 9-to-5 job and consistently keep just running around the mulberry bush like the monkey chased the weasel. No, you don't do that. You sit within yourself and you be wholesome with yourself. And hey, if you're going to be out there ghosting people and then want to come back after a week or 2 or 3 or a month or a year later, hey, stranger, no, don't do that. You don't know that person in any type of conversation, any type of dialogue. Let people be who they are, And the ones that ghost, I will say this here, call it out. Honestly, call it out if they return back, right? Because they mistaken your time and they treated you as a joke. Now, guess what? It's the egg that's on their face. A lot of people really got to start being true within themselves, being that person that wants to communicate. All right. So many people say they're a good communicator, but they don't even know how to communicate with themselves. They don't know the elements and the power between two-way communication. They rather sit here and just soak it all in. I always ask myself this question. Who is it you're talking to in your past? Is that the reason why you don't know how to communicate? Because maybe that man or woman didn't want to communicate with you, so you bring it on? Stop bringing these bad, dirty habits into new relationship foundation building blocks, people. Stop it. Start bringing the positives in a relationship to a new place setting, not the negative, right? Because if you listen keenly, if you actually listen, everybody tells you who it is that they are. If you actually watch and see people's actions, you know who they are. Too many people want to talk, but not many people want to listen. And too many people want to act without not following up. We got to do better, people. We do. We really do. And I think that what's happened in the last 2 to 3 years has eliminated the surface of how we communicate and how we want to talk, because we don't know what it is we really truly want out of life. Anybody that looks at me, they can say, hey, listen, Roy looks like a person that knows what it is he wants. Yeah, I do. But I don't accept less. That's why you have to have your boundaries set in place. How many people have their boundaries set in place and like, hey, I'm not trying to get physical right away? That's cool. That's a boundary. You have to respect that. Just like how people have boundaries and respect and be like, listen, I'm going to be direct with you. You ever find it funny? People say they want you to be direct with them and they want you to be upfront. Well, when you start becoming upfront and direct, they're the ones who run away. They're the ones who kind of, go back in their turtle shell because they're not one with themselves. Accountability is something that needs to be seen. Accountability is something that needs to be simply sit here and showcased when it comes to getting to know somebody. But if you surround yourself with the right energy and the right people in your circle, then you know what accountability is. Stop playing with people's time. If you're not real with yourself, right, don't welcome people into your life. That's just how it is. The other thing, being superficial. It goes into a lot of different things. Appearance, money, being superficial. People are being blinded in these apps by they see the designer bags, they see the designer outfits, and all this thing about being a high value man, being a high value woman. Some people have their priorities all the way misaligned. See, what you should be actually asking yourself is, what are your non-negotiables? Is this person respected in their community? Does this person have a lot going on in their life? Who are they impacting in the world? Right? That should be your just the 3 simple non-negotiables that you have out there. That's when you get to understand, right? Don't be looking at these people that you see, high vibrations, 100, 150K, and all they're doing is flying in and out of jets and on yachts. Cool. That's good for while it lasts, but does it bring the actual satisfaction of what it is you're looking for a person? Maybe you're better off dealing with somebody that's actually going to be there. Maybe doesn't make that 100K a year. Hey, maybe you make 80K and they make 40K. That's together. That's alignment, because you both can break bread with each other. Shouldn't be about how much money a person is spending on you and how much money they're making, right? Women want stability. We get that. But stability also goes down to protecting your mental health. And is that person going to actually put you first at the end of the day, right? Because you make 150K a year. All right, cool. What does that mean at the end of the day? Oh, you can travel 2 times, 3 times for the year. You can have the expensive dinners, the expensive lifestyle, take the expensive pictures. Cool. But what happens when that all goes away? What happens when all those likes are not there? What happens when all those, comments are not under the posts? Stop being superficial. People that are superficial is because they don't know what's inside of them. So they have to lead and operate just through the money lens first, because money is what controls the world, Overwhelming of options. Overwhelming of options. Options. Hey, this day and age, it's okay to talk and date 3 to 5 different people. Not in my book, right? I don't care what all these influencers are talking about, being in poly relationships, date multiple people, hook up with multiple different people. It just becomes a mess at the end of the day. But a lot of people have that absent mindset. And what they want to do is that's how they want to navigate the world, because they're scared of being lonely. They're scared of simply sitting here understanding what it is they want out of life. They're scared to actually be real with themselves. They're scared to actually simply sit here and say, hey, listen, you know what? Let me date myself because I'm not healed. Go on that actual spiritual journey. Go on those journeys. Go on those things to actually know what it is and who you are. Doesn't matter what's been going on in life, whatever traumatic experiences, figure it out. Hire that coach. Find that therapist. Read those books. But a lot of you don't want to do that. Why? Because you're looking for other people to pick up the pieces and to fix you. This is not the Humpty Dumpty system. It's not. This is where you have to look inward. Look inside of yourself. Every morning you wake up and you get out of bed. 9 times out of 10, you're hitting that washroom. You're washing your face. You're brushing your teeth. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. And you got to ask yourself is, who am I? And what is my purpose in this life? And if a lot of you start asking yourself that question about who am I and the purpose that you're bringing into yourself, you'd be able to then have that option of understanding who it is that you are and what it is you want to accept. You should be accepting nothing more but people that actually have genuine burning desire for you. People that actually want to choose you first. People that actually want to reach out to you first. It's not all about the good morning text. Good morning, hun. Good morning, babe. No. How's that person choosing you and putting your foot forward first? Women, take more of a risk. Sometimes when you see that guy that's reaching out to you and wanting to be real with you and ask you certain questions, it's because he's actually taking a genuine approach. But a lot of y'all miss that. And a lot of you guys run to your wine nights and your charcuterie boards and say, well, I can't find a nice guy. Because you keep playing with people. And the more you keep playing with people, the universe will start welcoming you things that it is that you don't want. Men, stop playing with these women, right? Stop going from couch to couch thinking because, hey, listen, you got a good second head. It allows you to get whatever it is that you want to have. You jump from couch to couch, right? Because what? You can sleep with that girl. You can hook up with this girl. You can do that with that girl. Cool. It's low vibration. See, what we need to start doing as a human race, I've always said this, the moral of the story is this: being one with self and understanding what it is you want. Read the books. 48 Laws of Power is one big book. Robert Greene. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules to Life. Right? Those are 2 books to really understand what it is you want. Figure out yourself from past relationships. Stop having those abundance of options. Because you think options means, oh, well, I'm not going to be hurt. I'm not going to be left without. You look at these sports stars, the Patrick Mahomes of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, the LeBron James of the world, the Tiger Woods of the world. You think they had abundance of options when they were choosing their sport? No, they stuck to one thing and they perfected that craft and they became world champions. See, people could be world champions in dating, but it's what happened is people got that veil behind the lens of their other parts of their eyes. You see, the blinders are off. There's no sunlight creeping in. It's absolute darkness. because they live in this thing called darkness because they don't know who they are inside of themselves. They have no soul. They're selfish. They want to go through because they've been hurt. You know how many times I've heard women are out there hurting other men, playing other men because of a guy that did a number on them, and they don't know how to simply sit here and get better from that? You know how many times I hear guys are out there running numerous numbers on women because they've been hurt by a girl in the past, so they want to hurt other people in the past? No nonsense. Apply the foundation and apply what it is you want out of life. Understand how you want to simply be reflected in it. What's your reflection systems like? What's your morals? What's your ethics? What are your non-negotiables? What are your trade-offs when it comes down to dating? When it comes down to getting to know somebody? A lot of people will just lead because of your status. Heck no. Don't look at the status. Look at the person that you're sitting across from. Look at the person that's actually wanting to be on your phone. Look at the person that's actually wanting to actually challenge and want to have a conversation with you. Because if you put your best foot forward, that's how you're going to be able to get the answers that you want out of life. But too many people don't want to have the answers in life. They just want to live in sovereignty in life. They want to simply sit here and still reach for the poison, but have the remedy right there. Make it make sense. Dating in volume only lasts for so long. Start looking in yourself and saying, what contribution do I want this man or this woman or whatever orientation you're wanting to date? And you'll find the answers. But it starts with you. It starts with you looking forward, looking inward inside yourself, looking somewhere in that heart of yours. Heck, if you're consistently getting cheated by or cheated on by different people, you need to look inward and say, why am I being cheated on? It's not right, but you got to heal from that, right? If you're broken, you're shattered, you've had traumatic experiences, don't be in the dating pool. Take yourself out, remove yourself out. Have a thaw out process. Thaw out. Thaw. Don't have no interchangeable dialogue with men or women. Find it inside yourself. Ask yourself some questions. It's okay to sit and be single. Be single, but be single and not speak to nobody. Be single and sit within yourself. And that's where you'll get those answers. See, in a time of silence is when you find the best opportunity to understand who it is that you are. Then you see where your non-negotiables are. Reflect. But not too many people want to reflect on the good times. People want to reflect on the bad times. And it's those bad times that are going to consistently have you trip up along the ways in this dating realm. It's for you to go out there. It's for you to understand what it is you want to do. It's for you to understand where it is you want to go and what place setting you're welcoming to have. It's up to us. You are the reflection. You are the director. You are the producer of your life. So welcome what it is that you want. Don't be this serial dater. Don't be in and out of relationships, in and out of hookups, because you don't know who it is that you are. And that is my time. Like, share, subscribe. Mitchell Report Unleashed podcast available on Spotify and Apple. Subscribe to the YouTube. Officially Rory. I'll see you soon.